We'd like to welcome you to the bi-monthly meeting of March 21st City Council meeting. Councilman Brannigan, would you lead us in the invocation?
Let us bow our heads and remember we're in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you this week, especially for our new church leader, St. Francis, and we want to pray for him and for all church leaders, that they continue to be examples to our communities through their humility and their faithfulness and their charity, and that we strive to be more like those leaders. We want to also pray for all Christians who are celebrating the peace and reconciliation of this season, and that we ourselves enter into that spirit. And we want to ask for your wisdom here this evening to help us do what's right for the citizens of Kenner. We want to ask that you be with the family of Ned Chatelaina, a resident of District 3 who recently passed, that you welcome him into the kingdom of heaven and console his family. And for all these things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Councilwoman DeFrancis, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All council members present, please vote.
Madam Chairman, you have a quorum. Madam Chairman, this evening, could we please get a motion to amend the agenda to move item 11A to item 12B? This is not a reclassification of zoning, it's simply a conditional use. We'll hear it at another part in the agenda, please.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Black to amend the agenda, to change the order. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Madam Chairman, this evening we received a request to amend the agenda to include item 16N, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the lowest responsive bid of Barrier Construction Company, LLC, received March 13, 2013, by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $458,251.56 for the Veterans Boulevard Overlay, Phase 1, Sharon Street to Salem Street, State Project Number H.007-213, Kenner Public Works Number 2011-003-ST.
Motion by Councilman Stagney, second by Councilman Carroll, to suspend the council rules. All members, please. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to object to this being placed on the agenda? If so, please come forward now. Okay, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to suspend your rules. Now we'll have a motion to add the item, please.
Motion by Councilman Stagney, second by Councilman Carroll, to add the items to the agenda. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Madam Chairman, I've also received a request this evening to amend the agenda to include item 16O, an ordinance authorizing a cost per copy lease agreement with U.S. Copy Incorporated for photocopy, fax, printing equipment, maintenance, parts, labor, and supplies for a term of 3 years and ratifying necessary interim charges for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Black, to suspend the council rules. If there's anyone in the audience who is opposed to this legislation, please come forward. All members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
It's in first reading.
If I could just have a motion to add the item.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Black, to add the item to the agenda. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. The consent agenda this evening.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Black. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, let me read the consent in real quick, if you would. The consent agenda this evening consists of, number 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of March 7, 2013. Item 2, approval of alcohol beverage permit applications. Item 2A, a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Kenner Italian Heritage Incorporated on April 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2013, at 303 Williams Boulevard, being property owned by the City of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 174413, Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church to hold a public gathering for an Easter sunrise service on March 31st, 2013, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. at LaSalle's Landing. Item 3B is application number 174513, Kenner Italian Heritage Incorporated to hold a public gathering for a festival on April 5th, 2013, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., April 6th, 2013, from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., April 7th, 2013, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Rivertown. Item 4 is correspondence reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 5 is acceptance, rejection of bids requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. Item 5A is a resolution accepting the responsive bid from WC Contractor Incorporated in the amount of $2,875 to paint the kitchen and large multi-purpose room at the Martin Luther King Community Resource Center as per telephone bid number T13-1974 for the Department of Community Development. Item 6 is change orders requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. We have none. Item 7 is acceptance of committee findings for final passage. We have none. Item 8 is re-subdivision of ordinances for final passage. Item 8A is summary ordinance number 11,490, an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of Lot WHD into lots WHD 1 and WHD 2, Hanson City subdivision. If you could, please vote since I read it into the record. Could you please revote?
Motion. Vote, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 for the consent agenda. Item 9, under the public appearance agenda, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,492, an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to approve amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2011 action plan for the Department of Community Development.
Motion by Councilman Stagney, second by Councilman Carroll, to open a public hearing. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing.
We're now in a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,492. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council, please come forward now. Motion by Councilman Stagney, second by Councilman Carroll, to close the public hearing. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Stagney, to approve. Hearing no discussion, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 11,486, an ordinance amending section 9.5-2A and C of the Kenner Code of Ordinances entitled Use of Natural Limestone Rock in Mixing, Manufacturing, and Preparation of Natural Limestone Rock Asphalt Prohibited.
Motion by Councilman Reyno, second by Councilwoman DeFrancis. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 11,491, an ordinance approving a place of worship in a C2 General Commercial Zoning District to be located on Lot 29A, Square 374, Highway Park Subdivision.
Motion by Councilman Stagney, second by Councilwoman Brannigan. Councilman Stagney, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam
Councilman Stagney,
President.
Would you let Mr. Hebert give his
I was going
presentation?
to ask him to do that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Council-
Council President.
Planning Director, Jay Hebert.
The site contains a commercial strip center located at 2505 Williams Boulevard, Council District 2. The building contains an Athlete's Foot located in Suite A, Wireless Unlimited in Suite B, discount income tax in Suite C, and Suite D is currently vacant, which is the proposed site for the place of worship. Property zone C2, general commercial, is located along a section of the Williams Boulevard corridor, which is zoned and used for general commercial purposes. The proposal includes the establishment of a place of worship for the Church of God Ministry of Jesus Christ International to be located in Suite D of the existing commercial strip center. Now, land use study survey of the surrounding area indicates that the proposed location of the place of worship is not located within 300 feet of any pre-existing licensed lounges or liquor stores. Access to the site is provided by ingress points, one via Williams Boulevard, a second via 25th Street, and a third via Florida Avenue. The proposed church will operate between the hours of 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9:30 a.m. through 1:30 p.m. on Sundays. Now, a comparison of the hours of operation indicate between the place of worship and the current commercial tenants of lots 29A and 30A suggests that any impact from an overlapping of hours of operation between the uses would be minimal at most. In terms of parking, currently there's 37 existing off-street parking spaces on lot 29A. There's a minimum of 52 spaces required to accommodate the 3 current tenants plus the place of worship. It would leave a deficiency of 15 parking spaces. Now, as a result of that, the owners of lot 29A and 30A have entered into a legal shared parking agreement that will provide an additional 64 parking spaces for all the tenants at that location. There's no outstanding issues at this time that need to be resolved during the preliminary stages. Therefore, the Planning Department and the Planning Commission both recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Councilman Stagney.
Thank you, Madam President. This piece of legislation where churches can locate in C2 is a byproduct of what we did on this council to help expanded uses in C2 to fill up, to make use of some of the vacant commercial spaces in our city. Furthermore, churches in particular were only restricted to residential neighborhoods, which created parking problems within neighborhoods. And I think we'll see more than just this one come about before us. I thought it was good legislation back then. I think this is good legislation. The Planning Department has made a good report showing that there's not going to be any parking problems. There'll be sufficient ingress and egress, and should not impact anybody in the neighborhood, and really not anybody in the commercial establishment. So I'd ask for your approval. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Stagney. Hearing no other discussion, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution requesting that the Jefferson Parish move polling place K004 from its current location at 64 Andrus Avenue to Driftwood Park Country Club located at 94 Jelby Avenue.
Motion by Councilman Reyno, second by Councilwoman Black. Councilman Reyno, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I had a request from the neighbors in that area. This is the only polling place that's in a residence, and had spoken with the resident who has the polling place, as well as where we would like to relocate it, and everybody's in favor of it, so appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Reyno. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda.
We have none.
Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,487, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with Bow Brothers Construction Company, LLC, to provide bridge maintenance and repair on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $1 million annually, with the same terms, conditions, and pricing as those furnished to Jefferson Parish under Jefferson Parish Proposal Number 50-10051 for a period concurrent with the Jefferson Parish contract for the City of Kenner Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Denopoulos. Hearing no discussion, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B, summary ordinance number 11,488, an ordinance authorizing repairs to the rotor pump assembly and associated diagnostic testing on Vector Vacuum Truck Unit 2064 in the amount of $9,905 by Vacuum Truck Sales and Service, LLC, as an authorized dealer for the Department of Public Works Division of Drainage.
Motion by Councilwoman Brannigan, second by Councilwoman Black. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 11,489, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid from High Tech Electric Incorporated of Delaware doing business as HTE Contractors in the total amount of $246,774, including alternates number 1 and number 2 for the Vintage and Medoc Generator Sewer Rehabilitation Project as per specifications contained in sealed bid number 12-6090 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilwoman DeFrancis, second by Councilwoman Brannigan. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 11,493, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid from Southern Construction of Metairie, LLC, in the amount of $80,880 for the construction of the AP Clay Complex Gazebo and Area Enhancement, CEI project number 2010-045, seal bid number 13-6124 for the Department of Community Development.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Stagney. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 11,494. An ordinance accepting the responsive bid from D.L. Daigle and Company, LLC, in the amount of $95,410 for the interior renovations of the second floor of the Old Wentwood Gymnasium, City Project Number 11-53 for the Department of Community Development.
Motion by Councilman Denopoulos, second by Councilman Brannigan. Councilman Denopoulos, you have the floor.
Once again, this is, a multi-year phase project that we're doing at the Old Wentwood Gym. Originally, we have it set up now for the boxing, our boxing program in the city, and this is just part of the ongoing renovations that we're doing over there. And let me make it clear that infrastructure monies in District 5 are not paying for this. This is all coming from community block grant money. This is federal dollars that are coming down to rehabilitate and actually to work within the neighborhoods, and that's where this $94,000 is being allocated from. So we're slowly but surely fixing up that facility to actually better serve the neighborhood and the community that it's in. It's a relatively old gym that needed a lot of renovations, and this is we're up to probably about $350,000 and almost $400,000 in repairs on this gym, and not $1 is of local taxpayer money. This is all coming from community block grant money. So I just want to make that point. And once again, I just appreciate your support on this, and once again, fixing up our city facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Denopoulos. Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to also thank Councilman Denopoulos on this. He and I are talking about this along with Director Terrell. On the south side of Kenner, there is a facility for the seniors that they attend, well attended, and it gives them opportunities to come and to see their friends, to get out of the house. I think some of the concerns by some of our seniors who are important to us is that they sometimes lack the transportation to get over there on the south side. So this is a facility that will not only accommodate the children, but it will be a facility to accommodate our most precious seniors from the city of Kenner, an opportunity for them to be able to gather and have parties and to socialize and to give back to them who they deserve our help.
Yeah, I knew that, that's why.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 11,481, an ordinance accepting the response to bid received from Quality Site Work Materials Incorporated for a 2-year contract not to exceed $100,000 per year to supply PVC pipe and fittings for the city of Kenner on an as-needed basis for the city of Kenner.
Motion by Councilman Reyno, second by Councilman Stagney. Councilman Reyno, you have the floor.
Madam President, I'd like at this time to move for an indefinite deferral on this.
We have a motion by Councilman Reyno, second by Councilman Stagney for an indefinite deferral. Please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to indefinitely defer. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 11,476, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Taylor Power Systems Incorporated for a 2-year contract for preventative maintenance service for emergency generators for the city of Kenner and an amount not to exceed $100,000 per year as per seal bid number 12-6117 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Denopoulos, second by Councilwoman DeFrancis. Councilman Denopoulos, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the item that was brought up at the last council meeting and brought up for reconsideration. It was put on a one meeting deferral, and it's now being brought up again to a vote. And basically what we're doing is just changing some of the amounts on this particular summary ordinance. And then I know Council Clerk has those amendments and changes, and I just want to say that the Section 4, that billing for services performed on an hourly rate basis shall begin upon arrival at the designated job site. That is the amendment that Mr. Stagney had put up originally at the last 2 council meetings before. That is still in the legislation. We added a Section 5, which is in the event that the generators and systems on which the services are provided require electrical maintenance in excess of $10,000 during the term of this contract. Such services must be performed by a licensed electrical contractor, and it cites a state section 372150-1. That actually Section 5 is actually right off of the Bazile, Satchez, and Wilson letter that was sent to the city in concerns as far as what the electrical could and couldn't do on this particular contract. So I thought it was, at that point, it would behoove us to go ahead and add that to this legislation, and also the amount. The amount originally was $100,000, and the amount's going to be amended to $75,000. And of course, Mike Quigley, myself, and Mr. Jose Gonzalez agreed that the $100,000 was probably a little high, so that $75,000 would be a more attainable limit on this particular contract. So basically, I'm bringing it up before the council for this particular vote with those amendments. I would like your support on them. The administration and I worked on it.
We have to have a motion on to be amended.
Well, I'm going to do that in a second. So what I'm going to let at this point in time, anybody want to speak on this legislation, go right ahead, and then I'll close and add the amendments. Thank you.
Okay. Normally, we just go ahead and amend it and let people talk on the amendment.
Okay.
And then on the.
Now just close.
Okay. So we have an amendment on the floor. Does everybody understand the amendment?
Yes.
Motion by
Council
Councilmember
Clerk,
Denopoulos.
is there, yes, motion by Councilman Denopoulos, second by Councilman Stagney on the amendment.
Okay.
Okay, so now, does anyone wish to speak on the amendment? You want to speak on the amendment?
Yes.
Mr. Denopoulos, would you please remove your,
You got the floor now, Mr. Franchise. Go ahead.
there you go. On the amendment,
That's okay, hold on. I got it. Go ahead now.
Okay. Yes, it's on. Mr. Conley, you and I spoke earlier because I wanted to make sure that we were going to do this correctly because we were changing the caption. And I know and I'm just putting this on the record, very often if we try to change captions, it becomes a problem. But you and I discussed that, because I had come to you before I knew about Actually, I was sure about the amendment that Councilman Denopoulos was going to propose. I had thought about perhaps putting back an $80,000 cap, since that had been the cap last year. And so I asked you the question about whether or not we could change this caption, and you answered the question for me, but I wanted to put it on the record so people felt more comfortable about it. Would you mind telling the council and the people here exactly what you told me, please?
For the record, I'm never comfortable with changing the caption because that's what's advertised
Right.
and published. But my main concern is if we add an amount to the cap limit. Certainly, if it's a diminutive amount, I have no concerns because we're not misleading the public in any manner.
And that's what I wanted to make sure that everyone knew, that because we were lowering it and not raising the cap, that our city attorney did not feel we would run into any kind of legal problems. And I thought it was important to put it on the record.
I think so too. Thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention. Okay, so we have an amendment on the floor, motion by Councilman Denopoulos, second by Councilman Stagny. Any other discussion on the amendment? Councilman Stagny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I had a quick question because we were talking about the 100,000 amount, the 50,000 amount. One of the reasons we used to bid this contract out was that we would be pre-positioned for any hurricane damage work that needed to be done. Is the $75,000 adequate enough to handle that, and would that still keep us pre-positioned? It seemed like it would, since last year we spent, I don't know, 32,000, 34, something like that, and we only added 12 generators since then. Is that?
I feel comfortable with the $75,000. You know, we have had a number of hurricanes in the past. Isaac, for example, is the most recent one, and we did use the services of Taylor, okay, during that period. And I think, you know, most of the city was without power for a week or so, and we never came close to the $80,000 cap that we had done by an amendment.
And back then, they were charging for travel time, higher unit price, and everything
You're
else.
right, the hourly rate was higher, okay? Yes, we had less number of generators. We have more generators right now, and we were dealing with a 3-year contract. You know, what I'm trying to tell you right now, that 3 years after the fact, I think we have a good deal as far as cost is concerned with this company that has been providing the services for the last 3 years. I feel comfortable with the $75,000, unless we have, you know, like a Katrina and Rita and another hurricane back to back, okay? But that's highly unusual. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to go on an emergency mode and request the services of perhaps other companies. But I feel comfortable with the 75.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Denopoulos, thank you for all your hard work on this.
Okay. On the amendment, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Back to the original legislation. Councilman Denopoulos, did you wish to open on the, again? Okay. Councilman Denopoulos is closing.
Basically, I do want to thank the administration and Jose Gonzalez. He did do a good job as far as lowering the rates on this particular proposal. And once again, there was some concerns about some state issues and some state licensings. I think this clears it all up. You know, I think we're well within our purview to issue this contract to Taylor without any concerns concerning state contracts and state licensing. So I'm pretty happy. And I want to thank the council for once again, you know, staying with me about 2 weeks ago and putting it up for reconsideration, because it, you know, it is what it is. We're here as council to sit here and look at these contracts. You know, the city of Kenner told us quite resoundingly that almost 80% of us, the city told us to look hard at these contracts, and that's what we're doing. And, you know, from time to time, sometimes these contracts are going to get put, you know, on a deferral, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's the way the business is going to be. Just like tonight, we deferred some legislation tonight because we want to get some better clarification. So, in honesty, I can tell you that the administration immediately the following day, after the deferral, worked with me. We sat down there, Jose and I sat there and grinded this thing out and made it comfortable for everybody, and now I'll vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing no other discussion, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances in summary and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of office furniture from the Han Company in the amount of $12,995.35 through state contract number 408247 for the Department of Community Development. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Lamarck Ford, an authorized dealer, in the amount of $6,900 to replace the long block assembly and motor for 2008 Ford F-250 Unit 5069 for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Han Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $20,650 to remove the existing rubber safety surfacing and to furnish and install new pour-in-place safety surfacing at Lake Town Tot Lot in accordance with seal bid number 12-6127 for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 16D is an ordinance authorizing the Chief of Police to create the class of Deputy Chief of Police as a competitive class. Item 16E is an ordinance amending the 2004-2005 capital budget to reallocate $7,950 from the youth baseball field at Wood Lake to Wood Lake Playground equipment for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 16F is an ordinance amending the 2012-2013 capital budget to reallocate $32,561 from the telephone systems upgrades and the off-site backup server to purchase Kenner TV equipment for the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications. Item 16G is an ordinance amending the 2003-2004 capital budget to reallocate $14,250 from the project to replace Worth Street Fire Station to fire department repairs for the fire department. Item 16H is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to approve amendments number 3 to the fiscal year 2009 Community Development Block Grant Final Action Plan, i.e. budget for the Department of Community Development. Item 16I is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to approve amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2008 Community Development Block Grant Recovery Funding Award from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, ARRA, of 2009, and the grant closeout for the Department of Community Development. Item 16J is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to approve amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2012 Community Development Block Grant Final Action Plan budget for the Department of Community Development. Item 16K is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to approve amendment number 3 to the fiscal year 2010 Community Development Block Grant Final Action Plan, i.e. budget for the Department of Community Development. Item 16L is an ordinance amending the 2007-2008 capital budget to reallocate $7,894 from the Westwood Drainage and Street Improvements Project to the AP Clay Complex enhancements for the Department of Community Development. Item 16M is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 950 DARE T-shirts at a cost of $6,293.75 from Creative Product Sourcing Incorporated, sole source provider for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16N is an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the lowest responsive bid of Barrier Construction Company, LLC, received March 13, 2013 by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $458,251.56 for Veterans Boulevard Overlay Phase 1, Sharon Street to Salem Street, State Project Number H.007213, Kenner Public Works Number 2011-003-ST. 16O is an ordinance authorizing a cost per copy lease agreement with U.S. Copy Incorporated for photocopy, fax, printing equipment, maintenance, parts, labor, and supplies for a term of 3 years and ratifying necessary interim charges for the Kenner Police Department. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Yes, we have a few. Councilwoman Brannigan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mayor, good news, bad news. The good news is we have an overwhelming response to opportunity for recycling. The bad news is it's a mess. So what, have we thought about expanding, or are there other plans to expand the recycling?
Well, right now, budgetarily, we're on pace we could spend anywhere between $24,000 and $30,000 annually, based on the first quarter. So like I said, it was an experimental program, and we're in departmental budget hearings right now to see if we can come up with additional funding to continue it. It may be a program we have to cease because we just don't have the funding to do it. We're facing about a $2 million deficit in the budget that we think we may have gotten down to about $1.5 million with a lot of departmental cuts. So I just don't see how adding it is going to work. It's a popular program, but it is a costly program. We're looking at some other avenues to see if it's cheaper. We've gone back to Ramelli to ask them if they can lower their pull prices because, I mean, like I said, some days it's being pulled twice in a day. You know, we've gotten some other competitors out there that just to see what their costs would be. So we're exploring those avenues to see if that might work. We're looking at some other different recycling venues that you could have throughout the city on a smaller scale than a drop-off, but that would encourage recycling at other public facilities. So we're exploring that. But you're absolutely correct, and that's why we didn't want to expend any money to fence it in or get a bigger container at this point because we have to see if we can cover the cost. It was a gray area. We didn't know what would happen if we, I mean, it'd be like us coming up to y'all blind saying, okay, we want to budget $10,000 to cover annual recycling in the city and have 3 or 4 containers, and then halfway through the year, we say, okay, we got to figure out where we're going to get another $30,000 from based on where we're going. So it's something we're looking at, and we're trying to see if we can plug that hole in the budget.
What was it when, and I don't think we had it, I know we didn't have it when you were mayor, but do we know what the cost was when we did curbside, and how was that paid for?
Well, I'm still mayor. What you talking about?
Did I say that in a way that made you not
We
mayor?
didn't have it when you weren't mayor. Oh, no, when you were mayor. I'll wait.
Well, what I meant was, we've never had curbside while you're mayor.
Oh, okay, all right, right, you're correct.
Sorry,
Yeah, it was costing us about $420,000 a year, and we had an additional amount on the service charge to cover it, but when we stopped it, we reduced the service charge to, we were getting about an additional $1.60 a month on the service charge to pay for it. But after Katrina, we eliminated it and we reduced the service charge.
The service charge was on what, our sewer?
Yeah, the garbage service charge. The garbage
Oh, the
service
garbage
charge
service
was
charge.
higher when we had recycling to pay for the recycling.
And we did that by a simple resolution?
Ordinance. It was ordinance.
We did it about ordinance.
It was ordinance that levied the additional or increased the service charge when we started the recycling. But it was costing $420,000 a year, and after the hurricane, we weren't getting the usage. People weren't using it, and so we eliminated it.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry.
Oh, we've even looked at trying to get a bigger container and put it maybe more centralized, one container somewhere, maybe even by the public works yard for drop-off, but just to see what that, to see what that would do and see if it would be pulled less, but of course, the cost goes up on the pull.
A lot of people are surprised when they hear that it costs money to recycle. I think people think that if they are giving a product that's going to be reused, that there isn't a cost associated with it. And, I've tried to tell people for a long time that it has to be processed, and it has to be put back into another form, and it has to be sold. And a lot of times people, myself included, when you're shopping, you're looking for the most economical product. And if you go and look at what recycled paper costs as opposed to what, I guess, new paper costs, there is a cost savings when you don't buy the recycled. And so people will not buy the recycled because it costs less. But on the other hand, if there's no market for the product, it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go in the landfill.
And
Yeah, when we were doing it, we were getting some money back for the recycled goods, and it was only a few $1,000s a year.
Right. Yeah, so we pay 400-something thousand, and we get back a couple thousand. Yeah, I mean, and it is a reality that I don't think people are aware of. What were you going to say, Mayor?
I was going to say, we even asked Ramelli, what about, I asked them, why can't we have containers that's, you put the plastics here, the papers here? They said, because when they get full, because the sorting is, of course, part of the cost.
Right.
They have to take them and sort everything before it's recycled. And they said people are just going to put them in whatever's available. They will mix things, and we'll still have to sort them. That's why we chose to go with the containers we did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I mean, I just wanted to tell people it's not on deaf ears, because I hear this every day. I get pictures, and I pass by it all the time. I'm aware of it. I think it's going to come to a point where we're either going to have to decide to cut something else to be able to afford it, to either put in a fee to go back to curbside, which everybody keeps saying they'd be happy to do because so many people want to recycle, but I don't know if that's truly the case, or discontinue it altogether, which would not be a popular thing to do, and which I'd hate to see us do. But it is a problem, and I think it's kind of a safety, and not safety, but sanitary problem, because it's disgusting over there.
Well, we have recreation watching it. As soon as we see it, we put a call in and have them do a pull. I mean, I think there's one day it was 3 pulls in less than 24 hours.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Well, and on that same avenue, I mean, recycling is a feel-good thing. You know, you want to keep your planet green, but the same people who want recycling are the ones who are using disposable diapers, which are the hardest things to dispose of when you take them to the landfill. So it's a 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, because you can't get something for nothing. Everything you get in this life, most of the time, except the air you breathe, and that's getting kind of questionable, is you have to pay for. So I think, as Abe Lincoln once said, if you didn't watch last council meeting, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think it's just it is something that a lot of people want to do, but the majority of them did not, because we did not even have a 50% participation when we had the curbside recycling. So good item to bring up, because a lot of people do want to know about it, and I appreciate your input on that. Mayor Yanni, your light is on. Did you
Okay.
wish to speak now?
Yes, I did. This is just a heads up. You know, over the next 12 to 18 months, the city will be experiencing a significant amount of construction-related projects along major thoroughfares and in some cases residential streets. The work is a direct result of multiple programs, but not limited to the following: Pass to Progress, federal aid programs, the SOAR program, state capital outlay, statewide flood control, Federal Transit Authority, state safety grant programs, public works capital projects, and the Corps of Engineer programs. So especially the Pass of Progress, a lot of those have now been bid out, and we've got, good companies that are going to be doing the work, but it is going to cause some traffic, congestion through the city as progress proceeds.
Thank you, Mayor Yanni. Councilwoman DeFrancis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. Quite a few people have been asking about the new theater that is being built at the Esplanade Mall. And a lot of people have had questions about whether or not it's still proceeding. And let me assure everyone, it is moving forward. Mr. Aber and I have both been out at the site. They're still doing a lot of prep work. Unfortunately, the weather has not been very cooperative lately, and the weather has been one of the many reasons, construction problems and weather, why the theater is not moving forward as fast as we all would love it to be. Just about completed, I'm sure. But unfortunately also, because of the delay, please keep in mind that theaters usually like to have their grand openings only twice a year. And so that may be another reason why they're making sure that they're moving forward at perhaps a slower pace than we might like, because number one, again, the weather; number two, construction problems; number three, we want to make sure it's done properly. But it is moving forward, it will be completed, and it is going to be a tremendous asset for the city of Kenner, as well as the Esplanade Mall, for the city as a whole, bringing new people into Kenner. The only 3-story screen, digital sound theater in the area. So it's going to be, and it's always a first-rate theater when Mr. Solomon is involved, so we're very grateful for that. I am going to mention two things very, very quickly, because I think other councilmen may actually give you more information on it, but I have been working with the Italian Heritage Festival that's coming up. I'm sure Councilman Carol will tell you more about it, but please do know that Friday, April 5th through Sunday, April 7th, it will be taking place, and I think he's going to give you more information about it. They asked me to participate in it, and it's always been a very, very nice event here in Kenner. And perhaps Councilman Denopoulos might mention something about what's going on at St. Elizabeth as well. So again, there are a lot of things happening in Kenner, and we hope you all are going to participate. It's a great place to live, and we want to move forward as a community. And with that, I will let others speak.
Thank you, Councilwoman DeFrancis. Councilman Reyno.
Thank you, Madam President. Went to the flood, the new flood map, FEMA flood map plan that they had at Lafreniere Park. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. But Ms. Shaw, we're going to be having that in Kenner, right?
Yes, we're going to be having, here in the council chambers on next Thursday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We requested, and FEMA has graciously obliged our request. We're one of the few cities outside of a parish to have a mini open house, so they're going to conduct a mini open house. We did have residents from Kenner last night, but we want to encourage more people to come out and find about what's going on with your home, how you're going to be infected. Like I said, the city of Kenner is in a better shape than some municipalities are, but however, we still want business owners and homeowners to come out and find out about your property and how you're going to be affected by the FEMA maps. There will be insurance representatives from FEMA, so once you come in, they'll give you a map of your property, where you were, where you're going to, and how you're going to be affected by the insurance. So we will have those representatives here at the council chambers from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on next Thursday afternoon.
Thank you. They had insurance representatives there. They had home mitigation representatives there, so it was very informative. On a second note, I want to thank everybody that came out for the outreach program and our needs assessment for Lake Town. We had a meeting at the Hilton Garden Inn. And I have one other question about the recycling for the mayor. The units that they have out right now, we have the unit in North Kenner and one in South Kenner. They're not charging us for the trailer. They're only charging us for the hauls, correct? And they've offered to put additional trailers that would not cost the city any money for the trailer. It's just the haul. So I would make a suggestion that maybe we ought to take advantage of letting them put additional trailers, because then you won't have everything piled up on the side of the trailers. The number of hauls are going to be the same. I mean, if there's no cost in the trailer, it may eliminate, because I keep on getting calls from District 3 residents and saying every time we go, it's stacked up all over, so we just stack it and leave it there. Maybe that may be a solution. I know we don't have the money to haul it each time, but it would eliminate all the clutter. So just a thought. Thank you.
Councilman Stagney, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to recognize and congratulate our 11 and 12-year-old Biddy All-Star team. From Friday of last week till late last night, they participated in the International Biddy Tournament, and they finished as champions in the AA division, something that I don't think Kenner has done since 1992. And I wanted to congratulate the coaches, the players, and our recreation department who support those children, and they did a great job representing our city. As well, the 13 and 14-year-old Biddy team placed as runner-ups in their division. They may have had 10, 11, 12 teams, mostly from South Louisiana, as opposed to 11 and 12s, which had Finland, Kansas City, and a number of other teams. So those children represented our city well. Very proud of all of them, including my youngest boy, Andrew. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you, you know anyone on that team? Congratulations, Andrew. He's a chip off the old block, believe me, when it comes to basketball. Councilman Dinopoulos, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And for some of y'all that want to go and look at the DFIRM maps, the website is riskmap6.com. Now, I've been navigating through it, and I've been getting some information, and I've been on it several hours, and it's not, as you said, it's not quite as friendly as you would think, because it's a government agency that's doing this website, but it's Map6, riskmap6.com. That's the one that we're going on for. You got a problem with it? No, I didn't think so. It's not giving you all the elevations. It's not giving you the cross mapping, but it is giving the information whether your area may go up or not. But it's just an assumption. I don't find that the website as detailed as it could be. Also, too, St. Elizabeth and Seton, and this is early. I was going to do this at the next council meeting, but they are having their Eagle Gala. It's going to be held Friday April 12th, at the Pontchartrain Center. Please contact the school for any information. You can call Renee at 220-8881. And it's not too late to become a sponsor. They have different levels of sponsor, and once again, it's a good way of getting your business in front of a lot of the in one of the schools that we have in District 5 and in Kenner. So just remember the gala, and I'll also remind that at the first April meeting. But once again, I also want to thank all the participants that's helped us out with the fundraiser for Trent Ward. We had a lot of fun doing that. Several of the council members were there. Maria DeFrances. I know we had the fish fried by Mr. Keith Raynard. Gregory Carroll was there, and Councilman Stagney. And I know you were, serving? What were you doing, serving? Serving, yeah. I do want to mention that, because she'll get, Councilman DeFrancis will get mad at me if I leave one crumb out, okay? So
Well,
anyway.
you forgot about Councilman Black's money.
Yeah, and I can tell you that Councilman, we all participated. I know the administration was there, and it was a great event. And we sent Trent Ward home back to Ellis, Mississippi, with some money and hopefully help him with his bills. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't have a whole lot of information about the Italian festival. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Francis for bringing it up. Just as far as it relates to the dates, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. On the 5th, it's from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. On the 6th, from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. And on the 7th, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. But as far as it relates to bands and different things like that, I'll have that information for our next meeting, and I'll be able to pass that on. Look forward to everyone coming out to Rivertown. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. And yours truly will be making the cuccidadis for that Italian festival. So if you want to see what a great baker I am, come on down. I promise you, you'll leave healthy. Those dates again are April, what again, Councilman Carroll?
5th, 6th,
5th,
7th.
6th, and 7th. Thank you. Okay, Councilman Clerk, you can proceed.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business or no motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position.
We have none.
Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
We have none. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Morello. I didn't see you.
I'll remind you. I'll refresh your memory real quick. Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th
Wait,
District.
I don't think your mic's on.
41 years.
Believe it or not.
To some comments that was made in here at the last council meeting, and I'm going to direct this response to you, Councilman Reyno. You were either not prepared or could not answer my question as it relates to a project impacting Beachview Heights. So I'm going to say this to you. The people in the 3rd District elected you to represent them, not planning and zoning and not code enforcement. Now, maybe I could shed a little light on the project down there. February the 8th, Coconut Beach applied to the state for an alcohol permit with high alcohol content beverages and low alcohol content beverages. And that building will house a bar and a grill. Now, let me say this, I have no problem with viable, sustainable economic development in this city. What I do have a problem with is no public input. Now, one other thing I want to say, 15G. 15G brought a lot of concerns from the citizens, from the public, and I can tell you, I expect everybody involved with that contract to be very vigilant pertaining to that $10,000, because if not, it could cause some serious problems for the city of Kenner. And I can assure you that the public will be very vigilant as to what's going on with that contract. Now, anybody got any comments, any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morello. Mr. Walt Benetti. Come on, hop along. I'm in your same predicament.
Walt Benetti, 3009 Illinois Avenue. Sorry, with the new cast, I'm walking even slower than before. Councilman Stagney took a little bit of my thunder. I, too, wanted to congratulate the Kenner 11 and 12-year-old Biddy All-Stars. I think that's a great accomplishment for the city of Kenner. I'd also like to speak out against Mayor Yanni's 2030 plan. Without nitpicking about individual projects, I have concerns regarding the financing, the fact that we're increasing the debt of the city by 32%, extending the bonds by another 15 years. No one here can forecast what the city's economic position is going to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. We also don't know the impact of Governor Jindal's sales tax swap plan and that impact on Kenner's retail environment, or the impact of the internet and their continued impact on Kenner's brick and mortar retail. So extending the bonds, I think, for another 15 years is not a good idea, not prudent at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benetti. Hearing no other conversation, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion adjourned.